Welcome to Meet the Movie Press. Coming up, we're going to be talking about the It sequel, the Netflix canned beef, Warner Brothers cutting Brett Ratner, all kinds of crazy stuff this week. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
Good morning, Simon.
Hey, Jeff, how are you? Netflix are doing canned beef. Holy shit.
There's
not a trick that they missed.
Yeah, I stumbled over that intro, guys, but I am back. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
The show is starting.
Loaded.
Welcome to Meet the Movie Press. Welcome back, I should say. I am your loyal host, Jeff Sneider, editor-in-chief of the Tracking Board, tracking-board.com. And with me, as always,
is Simon Thompson at Showbiz Simon on Instagram and Twitter. And there's a Facebook page, This is Simon Thompson, where they mine all my data. And they sell it.
Cambridge Analytica.
They clearly, although I tried to do predictive text on Cambridge Analytica the other day. It didn't come out as Analytica. Let's just say that.
It's okay. I had an embarrassing one last night. I was doing something for like this hot spec about like a mother trying to find her daughter.
Right.
And it was like an action movie.
Yeah.
What did I Google?
Hot mother.
Mother-daughter action. Didn't work out.
No.
Didn't find the photo I was looking for.
Well, I once tried to text someone about the film Coriolanus, and it just sent them a text saying, you should see Colin's anus.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, not for them. They weren't expecting that kind of text, and I wasn't expecting to send it. But hey, how was your week apart from...
It was good, you know. It was
alerting
busy.
the
I
FBI
felt like
to
there was
habits.
There was a lot of news.
Yeah, good news.
I'm making real headway on my A Clockwork Orange puzzle at the office.
Great.
I've decided. So it can be a stressful job chasing movie news all day. So
you need a puzzle
I've decided
to calm down.
have an office jigsaw puzzle so that when people want to step away for 10 minutes and just do work on the crossword puzzle, it can be very calming.
That's amazing. And when exactly is your 75th birthday?
We also do knitting at the Tracking Board.
Fantastic.
Please buy our quilts.
Don't forget Needlepoint Wednesday. That shit gets cray.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what happens when you move to the heart of the Hollywood machine. You do puzzles.
Where do you want?
Week.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Let's start on something that came sort of we was talking about it yesterday. James McAvoy and Bill Hader for It Part 2.
Whoa!
What?
Another one just like Jessica Chastain.
Jessica's now confirmed, obviously.
Everybody wanted Bill Hader in this movie. Bill Hader is now in this movie. I think it's great. I love Barry. I love Bill Hader.
Barry's really good.
Oh, so you have been watching?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's fantastic. Did I tell you I've seen the whole show twice?
No.
I've watched every episode, and I watched it twice. The second time, it was all in one sitting.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. So if you're not watching Barry, definitely check that out. Bill Hader as an older Richie.
Yeah.
Perfect, obviously. What do you think of McAvoy as, I think it's Bill?
Yeah, very, very good. I mean, to be honest with you, they were two names that I hadn't considered previously, but when they were obviously mentioned this week and they put them next to the characters, I was like, actually, they make total sense. It's a really nice cast because it's a mix of people who are very well known, but they're not. Some of them are not.
It's Chastain and McAvoy working together again after X-Men.
Yeah, absolutely. And McAvoy and Chastain are probably the A-listers or the closest thing to A-listers that the film's got so far. Hader is very well liked, but quirky and slightly eclectic. I'll be very interesting how they're going to fill out the rest of the cast.
I just want to know who's going to play the fat kid.
Yeah, I was thinking
it's going to be like Pratt or something. I can't wait to see who they get for that.
Yeah, I'm finding the casting for this really exciting. And it's due to start shooting in July, so a lot of that is going to revolve around who is available, I think.
Pratt may be a pipe dream, but I think it would be interesting to see him in an ensemble rather than like the leading man. I kind of, I mean, he has sitcom roots.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of see him get back to that. But he's probably a little expensive. I don't know.
He probably is a bit expensive. I mean, there aren't that many. I mean, I can't genuinely. When people were saying, who do you want to play the adults? There were so many lists that went around.
Oh, and the truth is, they don't need anybody because the movie doesn't. People want to see the clown.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the cast, really.
Nope.
Nobody cared about the first one. It did great.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I really like this news this week. This has really got me happy. And the fact that it's going to start shooting in July means that Obviously, I'm assuming they're going to push it to a Halloween opening in 2019. Do we have a release date for it too?
No, I think that there is. I think
There is. Okay.
I think it's
cool.
next year. It'll shoot this summer.
But yeah, no, I'm super psyched for this. I'm going to definitely try and get set visit for that because I absolutely loved last year. It was so good. So that was news that I loved this week. A lot of people talking about Cannes as well this week.
Okay, so I wrote a whole piece on this.
Yep.
I mean,
let's talk about that.
Both sides make some good points, but what happened, I think it's a travesty. I think it's disgusting, the whole Netflix Cannes thing. Because Cannes saying Netflix is still welcome, but that's kind of disingenuous because the rules that are in place do not support Netflix's business model. And they shouldn't have to change that for one film festival, which is frankly losing its luster, and that's what all the press says this morning. I mean, how did you feel about it?
I mean, some people will think this is the most heinous blasphemy ever for the film industry, but I never wanted to go to Cannes. I've never been excited by Cannes. It's kind of nice. I've always covered it editorially for outlets that I've been working for, but it's never something that's particularly excited me, and it tends to be the most uppity and the most sort of navel-gazingly, chin-stroking.
It's an elitist film festival. My mother, God bless her heart, she would always ask me, like, when am I going to go to Cannes? When am I going to go to Cannes? I'm like, I don't really know that I want to go to Cannes. It's like a super long flight. I don't know, like I'm a picky eater. Yeah. So like a lot of people will be like, oh, I can't wait to like eat French food. Like, I eat baguettes here.
I want to pay an extra like
baguettes,
€10
if you will.
for a baguette that would have cost me like less just 2 days before.
I just don't know how outlets justify that cost these days,
and also
to cover like a half a dozen movies.
Well, several times people again this year have said, "Are you going to Cannes?" I'm like, no, because a lot of the stuff that's coming out of it, I can't. As a freelancer, it's not interesting to most of my outlets.
No, I haven't heard
it
of most
becomes
of these.
Interesting if they then get nominated for an Oscar later down the line, but they're not going to be. Right. A lot of them are not made outside of things like Solo, etc., etc.
I've heard of like 6 of like the directors that were included in the announcement yesterday, and I'm a professional. You know, like I do this for a living. Maybe I'm not a super cinephile, like like the Guy Lodges of the world, but
there is a market for them.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Fantastically well, yeah.
I know, and it's like it's not even like if Laszlo Nemes's Sunset had gotten in, it would have looked that much better. Like our readers probably aren't clicking on that article either, but at least that guy's recognizable. He's the guy who did Son of Saul, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
So a lot of people got snubbed yesterday. There could be more editions coming. There's a lot of movies that are held up on different with different issues. I think that the Lars von Trier movie will get in. But back to the whole Netflix of it all.
Yeah.
So the way that things are currently designed are, if you Netflix wants movies with distribution, which makes no sense because the whole point of a film festival is to get movies distribution. So in order to play in Netflix, at Cannes, you need to commit to a theatrical run in France.
Yeah.
But if you commit to that theatrical run in France, you have to wait 3 years under French law to put that film on streaming platforms. So essentially, Netflix would be fucking its own French subscribers, which is not good for business. And, while the international press gathers on the Croisette, to take photos on the red carpet, and that's of value, and people like doing that. They like going to Cannes for the glitz and the glamour.
Yep.
I don't know that it's worth it business wise for Netflix, so I understand why they're staying away. Ted Sarandos' interview with Variety was amazing. Did you read it?
Yeah.
Like the thing about how Cannes has banning selfies this year, and it's like what other technological advances would Thierry Frémaux
also
ban?
They got rid of like morning screenings as well, and I'm like, it just appears to be that Cannes generally as a festival, as a programming festival, and as an event is going so much, and again with the Netflix decision, is going so much away from what the other festivals are doing. Which I do see the point of carving your own niche when you're a festival. But there's also a really good reason why these other people are going in a certain direction, all the fish are swimming upriver in the one way, because that's kind of what people want. But also, a lot of people go to Cannes to sell ideas and sell things these days.
Well, that's the Cannes market, yeah.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, but I mean, there's that whole landscape is changing as
of
well.
course.
How people are doing business in
Cannes
that.
is supposed to be the
area.
creme de la creme of film festivals, and I find it's policy that this year didn't want to accept any movies from Sundance
It's childish.
into the lineup. Yeah, it's like on one hand I get it because you're still talking about those movies at Cannes as Sundance titles, but how many people go to Sundance and Cannes? I mean, is it the same people?
But
It
also
seems like a different crowd.
But also, if you're about film and you're about filmmakers, and especially when it comes to directing and supporting young talent, you really should be, as a festival, embracing these young filmmakers to help your
well, they
job.
did this year. That was what the criticism was, is that they're bringing all these new people for sort of changing of the guard, because you can't just rely on movies from 70-year-old men.
But from a film point of view, it's like, if a film is good enough to show at Sundance and it gets things, why not show it at Cannes?
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
You should be picking the creme de la creme of Sundance and bringing it to Cannes in some sort of sidebar.
And it's really important to those filmmakers, especially when they're developing their product. And if you want to support these filmmakers, to go, yes, I screened my film at Cannes, at Sundance, at South by Southwest, at this and that. You help these filmmakers by building them up and showing their work. That is part of what your role is as a festival.
I think Cannes would argue, well, okay, that filmmaker, we are showing young people's work. That filmmaker got his platform at Sundance, and we want to give another slot. Why should we give a slot in our festival program to a movie that has already been seen? I understand that to an extent, but I do think it's foolish. I think that there should be some Sundance movie. The best of Sundance should be at Cannes.
You can absolutely have that as part of the festival, considering how many other sections of the festival.
The one thing I do have to give Cannes credit for, and I know it'll be controversial, is this. Theory said that. He's in favor of positive discrimination, but not when it comes to film festivals. Like in the everyday world, sure, but I think that there's 3 films from women in competition this year, and people were wondering why there weren't more. Last year there weren't any. I don't believe they were all in uncertain regard or something like that. But he was saying when people sit down in the theater, and I believe this too, when people sit down in the theater, they don't give a shit if it's directed by a man or a woman. They don't think like that. And he, in his, he's saying, I just program the best movies. I don't care if they were, if none of them were directed by women, then none of them were directed by women.
But also, if you're a festival, a lot of it is about putting bums on seats. And if you know that people are if people know that there's a film that has buzz, and you know that you can pack one of the theaters there, and that's going to still be a hot ticket because people want to see it months before it comes out in general release, that is going to be a film that's guaranteed that you're going to sell tickets for this stuff. There are films in Cannes, some that play to full houses and people queue around the block and they wait all night. And then there are others that really don't. And there are some films that people go, okay, I'm going to go and turn up at this movie, and they walk out because it's so appalling. So, I think if you're looking at Cannes as a business, I think it's a good idea also to have those films there that are going to bring in an audience. Now, Zeno Hour is asking in the chat, will Cannes still be relevant in 5 years? Yeah, I think Cannes still will be relevant, but I think the role of Cannes is changing, and I think its position within the industry is changing. I think we've seen this with many other festivals over the last 10 or 15 years, where a lot of these festivals will go through changes, they will go through ups, and they will go through downs.
Yeah.
Change of management. Or it's financing, or it's the quality of the content they're bringing in, or some years they have a load of winners and some years they have things that don't. It is just the way the industry goes. So Cannes is always going to be relevant. I think this year they're just trying to reset, and they're just trying to mark their stall out. And I just think not all the ideas that they're making are particularly good ones. I mean, the whole thing with selfies, I'm like, I just don't think that makes a bigger deal. You're kind of making a point where you don't need to make a point.
Right. Mm-hmm. I understand wanting to preserve some of the glitz and glamour of old Hollywood, and that Cannes is sort of a throwback to another time, but I don't know. The idea of having to get dressed up in a tuxedo to go to a premiere, and then the whole badge system with all the different colors, and you're somebody and you're a piece of shit, I don't know. It's not in the spirit.
But whether you're a film festival or whether you're Comic-Con, I mean, Comic-Con for me, I went for the first time 2 years ago. Last year, I didn't think was quite as good. The content wasn't quite as good, but I'm sure that this year they're going to pick it up. They made some changes last year. They've readjusted some of those changes for this year. I think all of these things, whether it's a Comic-Con or a film festival, they do have these repositioning years. Sometimes it works and it's a good idea, and sometimes it's like, well, that was kind of a dumpster fire. Right. And I think this year is going to be maybe we're not quite as smart or as sort of impossible to damage as we thought we were. So can Will still go on? Can Will still be relevant? I think this year is going to be an interesting litmus test.
And I can't wait to see all those Netflix movies. Whether they debut day and date in theaters or
Netflix
on the streaming
is
service.
coming whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You can decide not to invite them to the party.
Ted's right,
but shit's happening, and this train is not going to stop moving forward. So. That's the choice you make.
Speaking of trains that won't stop moving forward, let's talk about the Fast and the Furious spin-off.
Yes.
You didn't know where that was going.
I didn't.
I could have taken that in any direction.
I was like, I do not have anything about trains written down.
David Leitch confirmed to direct the spin-off. Does it have a title yet?
No.
Is it Hobbs Shaw or something? I don't even know.
Hobbs, I think, was the title it was being...
Right, I thought it was just Hobbs,
sort of
but maybe Statham's like, I want
Hobbs
myself
and Shaw sounds like a lawyer.
Sounds like Calvin and Hobbes.
Hobbs and
Calvin
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yeah.
No. Listen, this guy's the right fit for this movie, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a good get. It seems like a nice marriage all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, even if how you feel about Atomic Blonde, a lot of people, I think pretty much everybody who saw that movie agree that the action scenes were absolutely superb.
Absolutely,
and that's what Fast and Furious.
Did you see that news, by the way, that Charlie said that they're developing a sequel for that?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It
didn't do great.
It didn't do great, but it didn't do badly.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Which way you think that the sequel's going to go? Some sequels go up. Some sequels are Kick-Ass 2 or Jack Reacher 2.
Yeah.
So,
them's the breaks. That's Hollywood. This fickle mistress.
Yeah. Listen, Dwayne. Once you have Dwayne Johnson in your movie, you have a hit.
I mean, Dwayne's got 3 movies out this year. He's got this
Skyscraper.
He's got Rampage this weekend, Skyscraper in the summer, and then he's got another one coming out later in the year.
My goodness.
So he's got 3 movies coming out. So, I mean, he's a busy boy. And obviously, there was talk this week, he was doing all the publicity for Rampage, and we'll get to box office later on. And people were saying, what's happening with your other projects, and there's the Doc Savage project, and he was giving updates on that. He's got like 50 movies that he's about to make.
I know, and you know what? It's been a long time since I've said this on the show, but go over to the Wrap and check out Beatrice's interview with
really good.
Dwayne and Danny Garcia and the $7 folks. I'm just proud of Beatrice.
That is something
dues.
That's something that I actually pitched for the last 2 Rock movies, and so I'm really pleased that she did a great job with that, and I'm really pleased that she got it.
Yeah.
So kudos to her.
Let's talk about Johnny K.
Yes.
John Krasinski. What a week for this guy. So recap last week's box office real quick. Like what did A Quiet Place open to?
Oh God, I think it's done. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Let me just
that was
check.
A test. It was 50 million, I believe.
50 million. Okay. I failed that test.
Yeah. So A Quiet Place did great. There's talk of a sequel. I mean, when I interviewed the writers, they said that they had so many ideas that were just in Microsoft Word documents.
And now it's been out for a week. I think we can talk about aspects of the movie that we didn't want to talk about last week because it was fresh out.
Sure.
So one thing we talked about, and if you haven't seen A Quiet Place, just be warned, we are going to talk about some potentially spoiler stuff now for a couple of minutes. I will wave at the camera like this when it's spoiler free in case you're turning the volume down. Okay, so which won't work if you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
I will tell you I'm also waving my arms in case you're listening.
I'll be rolling my eyes.
Brilliant.
Listen for that. Listen closely.
Yes. So you don't do that on the show often. So there's a part in the movie where you see John lighting a fire on top of a large structure, a corn silo, and when he does that, you see all these other buildings that are sort of circling,
right?
And they also light.
There are other survivors out there, is what Simon's saying.
We never see them in the movie. The only one we see is the guy in the woods, and that's in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler. But there would be the opportunity, obviously, to explore what's happening with them. I mean, there were like 5, maybe 8 of those, so you have different options there that could happen. Different families, different dynamics, different stories, backstories, etc., etc. That could be potentially interesting. You could also then go back and get to the point where we start the movie, where it's where these creatures, these aliens or whatever they are, where they come from.
Right, there's a whole 88 days or something that were not explored.
Yeah, so you could do it that way. Or potentially, you can pick up afterwards with Emily Blunt and the daughter, with moving on from that last scene that we have in the movie, and then they go out and they continue to kill. I mean, that's kind of like a one-note sequel, because it's just them destroying these monsters. But there's still a lot of things you could do. You effectively go into like Walking Dead territory there, where you then meet up with other people.
That's the thing. How do you make it smarter than this movie, which was so smart? I loved it.
Yeah.
In fact, I gave it 3 stars on my blog when I saw it, because I thought it was really good. And then I bumped it up. I saw it again last Friday night. I took my old college roommate and Stephanie to see it.
How old are they? 72?
Yeah. And they both really liked it, and I just thought it was fantastic. Like it still hit me emotionally, so I bumped it up to 3.5 stars out of 4. And there are people who are walking away who don't like it, who just find it phony, or I can't agree with that.
I didn't find it phony. I mean, for me, it had a lot of flaws. Like, we never knew where they came from. When the girl
that was a flaw. I don't need to know where they came from.
I wanted to at least have some sort of reference, because there was a huge chunk of sort of thing there.
I'm normally pushing for that kind of backstory, but
I didn't want full backstory, but even some sort of point of reference or some sort of exposition I would have liked. Also, the fact that the girl knew with the hearing aid, and again, this is still spoilers, don't worry, where the girl had the hearing aid, and she realized quite quickly that, in fact, whenever there was danger, and she knew other people could see the danger, that her hearing aid would have some sort of effect. It took a long time for her to kind of connect the dots on that. I was quite surprised that didn't kick in faster, and they kind of implemented a bit more. I also was very surprised that when John Krasinski interacted with the creature at the end, and just before he died, and he obviously knew that what they could do, like they could burst through metal and they can destroy houses, and yet he suddenly thought that him standing under them with an axe was like he was going to be able to beat them. Why would you put your kids in a truck if you knew that those creatures could break through a truck like, a knife through butter?
That wasn't like...
all these things were, to me, were like, I just think that kind of, it wasn't as smart as the rest of the movie, and it didn't kind of make, to me, it was like, okay,
I thought the ending was great. I thought it was absolutely great. I loved how you first see the old man scream, because he's basically committing suicide, he's ready to kill himself, and then the way that Krasinski brought that back, that callback, but in a different context as a sacrifice. Oh, it was brilliant. The opening was brilliant. That first scene with the batteries and the kid, it was, I really liked it. We'll have to talk about some of your complaints after.
Also, what happens when you fart? They'll hear you. When they made that baby, unless it was completely silent, the monsters must have heard them. Maybe they did it in the bunker. Practicalities.
Well, the baby was conceived. No. You're right. It was during. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I did the lady math.
Right, because I forgot that it skips ahead to like day 400 something.
Yeah.
Just saying. So now John Krasinski, producing this movie Life on Mars.
Yes.
With Platinum Dunes, which produced A Quiet Place.
Oh, let me just do. I'm now spoilers. We're done. Spoilers.
All right, so we're moving on to the news of Krasinski producing Life on Mars. Now, so here's a lesson for our fellow journalists watching, or aspiring journalists. I read this Hollywood Reporter break, and I was very unclear as to what it was saying. I was like, is this his follow-up? Is he directing this? Is he producing this? And so it prompted me to reach out to John's folks, and they
his parents.
I was just about to say,
you called his mom and dad.
His people,
dude. You guys.
I actually do know the Krasinski. I mean, they're from Newton, but anyways. So I called his people, and they clarified he's not directing, and that was Variety wrote it up that way. A lot of places wrote it up that way. That's not what I was able to confirm.
Do you know why a lot of people write it up that way? It's because they just copy what everybody else does.
Right, exactly. That's why. Exactly, and it just becomes this fucking game of telephone.
Yeah.
So I was specifically on the record told John Krasinski, just producing at this point. Maybe he will become attached to direct once they hire a writer, and maybe that writer kills it and delivers a great script, and then John's like, I want to do that. But right now, he's just developing it. It's something that he brought to Platinum Dunes. He loved the short story or book or whatever the fuck it's based on. And it's about a woman who...
She's part of a Martian colony, survivors from Earth who are on Mars. And she discovers that she can breathe the air on Mars.
Right,
and this kind of throws everything into like,
Right. I'm curious about that short story. It does sound like it could be
good.
The Martian for a leading lady. It sounds a little Martian-esque.
Do you know who would be really good in that?
Emily Blunt.
Yes!
Yes. Yeah, it actually is, I pictured her for some reason, whether it's the fact that they're married or that they just work together. But, yeah, she could use a movie like The Martian.
And also a lot of talk this
Who am I
week.
kidding? She's doing just fine.
A lot of people saying, hey, wouldn't they be great in the Fantastic Four reboot? I kind of.
Someone told me a great story about Emily Blunt last night, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was just like when she was like a young actress, and never mind.
We can talk about that one after the show.
No, very, very happy that she has found success. Remember, she was so good in what was it, Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah.
That was like the first real thing that she popped in.
It's still probably
And
the thing
now
that
look
she's
at her.
asked most about at junkets and red carpets is
Right.
Devil Wears Prada.
So
let's talk about Brett
something
Ratner.
else. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Warner Brothers this week cutting ties with Brett Ratner. Obviously, they've had a long-running relationship, and he had a financing deal with them. I can't remember the exact fee, but it was a hefty amount of millions. So after obviously all the allegations that were leveled against Brett Ratner, sort of the end of last year, in amongst all the other sort of stuff that was going on, Warner Brothers, there's been a lot of will they, won't they cut him loose? What's they going to do? What are they going to change? But yeah, they announced this week that they're going to cut ties with Brett Ratner, and obviously he does currently or had a number of projects that were currently in development with.
He had a slate financing deal for Rat Pack Dune, as well as a first look deal for Rat Pack.
Yeah.
So he not only was he producing movies for Warner Brothers, he was also financing. He had a piece of some of their movies. Rampage, that pact expired with Rampage.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not surprised by this, especially, really, Warner Brothers didn't have a choice.
No.
Because there's already enough rumors floating out there in the ether about Tsujihara and his association with Ratner, and with the phone people looming, and who knows what the hell is going to happen there. You can't have that on your record against you. You can't have that strike against you. So you just got to wash your hands and say, listen, if we need a financial partner on our slate, then we will go out and find one. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are looking to invest in Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
since they do have a lot of good IP over there. But yeah, not surprised.
Not surprised at all. So what do you think then? I mean, obviously this is hypothetical, but what do you think the future for Ratner is? And Rat Pack. I mean, because obviously this is no surprise that Warner have parted ways. Do you think anybody would want? And this is not just specific to him. This is specific to everybody else that's affected by this kind of thing. I mean,
I honestly don't know. And I, before all this broke, I liked Brett Ratner.
Right.
And I actually like his movies more than most people do.
Okay.
Which is another.
He's done some good movies.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people would say he hasn't, but I don't know what the future holds for that guy. I don't know if he goes to make Netflix movies. I don't know where he finds forgiveness, if he has something to be forgiven. Because
these were the allegations,
right? And he's fighting. He's really, of all the people, he's really the one pushing back. He's trying to sue that girl Melanie Kohler. So it remains to be seen. I don't think the dust has settled on that stuff. I mean, so tomorrow night, I'm taking Stephanie, because she's never seen it before, to LA Confidential. And Kevin Spacey's in that. And I'm wondering if someone at the theater is going to boo when he's on screen. We'll see.
Christopher Plummer might be there.
Maybe Christopher Plummer will have a mic in his hand, just reciting Spacey's lines from the audience.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from Ratner. Let's lighten it up, and let's talk about that Bourne TV show.
Yeah, the next on the list.
Go for it, big guy.
Okay, so obviously the last Bourne movie was not the Jeremy Renner Bourne universe movie didn't do particularly well. The last Bourne movie didn't do particularly well. It did fine, but it didn't do amazing. So what they're looking at doing now is doing a Bourne prequel TV show, and it's going to be it's under the working title of Treadstone. So obviously Treadstone, for those of you that might not be aware, is the company that basically created the program. It is the program that Bourne was born out of. Pardon the thing. So I mean, it's highly unlikely that obviously like the likes of Matt Damon, etc., because this is a prequel, so this is going to have new people. I think it's going to be more about Treadstone than it is about Jason Bourne. It's going to be telling that backstory. I don't know. I mean, I'll lead this onto something else as well that's Bourne related. Thanks to Stingray for giving me the tip on the second thing, by the way. I don't know what the interest is going to be in a Bourne prequel TV show. We have quite a few movies that are exploring TV shows that are exploring characters from movies where the franchises have kind of died out. John Krasinski is doing another one. Shooter didn't do particularly well. I don't know if there is that interest. I mean, if the appeal of Bourne was Matt Damon and people weren't really buying in towards the end, they didn't buy into it with someone else in that lead role. Obviously, Jeremy Renner in the other movie. I don't know if more of the same but a prequel is actually going to work. I just think they have to do something quite interesting. I mean, does the idea of that particularly excite you at all? I think the Bourne boat has sailed.
I'm not excited by Bourne to begin with. Although I do think the Treadstone will work on television.
Okay,
for sure. I think it's a good idea. I think that is what USA's job is. Really, their executives are supposed to be mining all the content that NBC Universal has at its disposal, and that's a great library title over at Universal for USA to exploit.
But isn't it effectively just? I mean, obviously it's got an IP skin on it, but isn't it just another House of Cards-esque kind of political espionage, designated survivor 24 kind of thing that audiences are kind of already shifting away from? I mean, it's
maybe a little bit, but I think maybe for a major network this wouldn't make sense, or but for USA, I think that this is like a decent title on their development slate.
One other thing that's been rumored around Bourne is obviously you like theme parks, and I love them. Universal in Orlando, they got rid of the Terminator 2 3D attraction.
A shame.
Yeah, there has been rumors for a while that potentially could be replaced, and there's nothing to confirm this. It's just it's just rumor.
Whoa.
That stunt show, that thing could be replaced by a Jason Bourne themed,
that'd be really cool,
indoor thing. It would be quite cool. Now I was kind of on my line of like, actually Bourne, maybe the appeal hasn't lasted there, but Waterworld at Universal in Hollywood, a film that was just terrible.
Yeah, nobody's thinking about the movie during these shows. They just want a good show.
They just want a good show. So even though I'm like, the IP might be an interesting one to convert into an attraction, actually,
dude, I like the Indiana Jones that thing,
the one at Disney World.
Right, I like that, and I don't like the movies. There you go.
There you go. So it could be interesting. I mean, there's nothing to say that is going to happen, but it's an idea and it's a rumor that has been going around for quite a while.
Listen, none of this shit is ever going to be as good as Backdraft, right? The movie or the
Backdraft's amazing. I love that. I never saw the show. One thing I really miss from Universal in Orlando.
You never saw it. You never went to like Universal Studios and saw the Backdraft thing?
No.
Oh man.
No, I didn't.
You missed out.
That. But no, I mean, I used to love the Ghostbusters one that they had at Universal in Orlando. The one they had inside. What was Twister and is now the Jimmy Kimmel thing. I mean, it's like in the early 90s.
Twister. And maybe
Twister
I missed the Ghostbusters thing. But
a lot of people thought that was terrible, but I love Twister.
Oh, I loved it, yeah.
We got cows! Hey, I'm Bill Paxton. I love Bill Paxton, but I was like, dude, you look so bored. Hey,
I know.
I'm Bill Paxton. Yeah, that's on YouTube. You can watch it.
The Backdraft one's like, hi, I'm Ron Howard. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Dude.
I'm gonna make a Star Wars movie.
You gotta love Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Gong Li and Donnie Yen. Yeah, and Jet Li.
Yeah, Jet Li, Gong Li, and Donnie Yen.
Get all three of them in Mulan.
Yeah.
I mean, those are like three of the biggest stars you can get, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, who else are we hoping for? Nice job by Disney locking down
Donnie Yen. I love
the A-list Chinese stars.
Yeah,
Donnie Yen from Rogue One. He was great in that. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of other cool Chinese actors join that.
Yep.
Are you interested in a Mulan movie? I mean, see, I'm not. I don't really care who they put in it. It's not for me. But
I was never a big fan of Mulan as a Disney movie. It's certainly not even in my sort of top 10 Disney movies. Where I know a lot of people love it. But no, I'm kind of. I mean, as the casting's coming together, my interest is peaking.
I'm curious how it performs in the U.S.
Yeah,
I understand why you have to make this movie and why it's probably going to do well. Particularly obviously in China, but I'm very curious how this is going to perform here. This will be a real test.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that.
We'll see how Crazy Rich Asians performs, honestly. I'm very curious about that one.
Yeah. But no, I think with this, I think it will be, if the action is good and the characterization is good. I mean, I was quite surprised that The Jungle Book was quite as successful as it was, because obviously that was, I mean, it turned out to be a great movie, but I was genuinely a little bit like, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go down or how this is going to turn out. And it turned out I was wrong. It turned out very, very well. So I'm willing to give, Mulan the benefit of the doubt on this, because I think it'll be a very interesting. I think the action sequences, could potentially be very interesting. I think visually it could be very, very stunning, and the scope of the film could be particularly appealing in itself. So I think there are a lot of elements that can actually really make this potentially one of the most must-see within the live-action oeuvre that Disney are pushing out. I mean, up there with the likes of Beauty and the Beast, and way, way above the likes of, say, Cinderella, which didn't work for me.
I never saw Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast, honestly.
Beauty and the Beast is really good.
I never saw Maleficent. Honestly, I kind of
Maleficent I liked.
I don't think I've seen any of the Disney live action
apart from Jungle Book
remakes.
You saw Jungle Book, right?
Yeah, and I loved it. I loved the Jungle Book, but I don't know if the others are for me.
I wonder if they'll bring back like Eddie Murphy as the dragon. Little dragon friend.
Never know. He'd probably
available.
do it. He is very available. Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
I don't really understand this story. So it has sold as many pre-sale tickets as the last 7 MCU movies
combined.
Does that include Black Panther?
I guess it does, because that's one of the last 7 MCU movies.
That difficult to
that's what I believe. Yeah, but this is a story that was going around repeated by a lot of places this week. That was wrong.
No, I mean the thing came out of Fandango. I think Eric Davis announced that, but it strikes me as an odd stat.
I mean, whether that is through Fandango,
I don't know what. You're right, exactly.
Scaramouche, can you do her?
I just don't know. What that matters. Like, what am I supposed to take away from that story? That Avengers Infinity War is going to be popular? Like, whoa.
We knew
Stop the presses.
Yeah.
I just don't get why why do sites bother doing stories about tickets? Because somebody sent out a press release and you can put Avengers in the headline?
Yeah.
It's weird choice.
And then other people see that people are doing it and going, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
A question that people are asking me a lot is, how do you get work? No. Which do you think is going to be, out of Avengers Infinity Wars and Black Panther, which do you think is going to be the most successful?
In Avengers Infinity War.
I think it is, but I think by a nose. I think there's not going to be a huge amount in it, but I think it is going to beat Black Panther. Interesting, though, it looks like Avengers Infinity War and Black Panther are going to be both still in the domestic top 10 box office at the same time, which is, I believe, a first for a Marvel movie.
We'll see. Black Panther would be hovering around 9 or 10 by that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's currently it's expected to go down to,
I think it's 4 now.
Yeah, it's expected to be 6th, I think, this weekend.
It
so
depends.
2 weeks. I think it could still be in the top 10. But that will be the first time.
How many theaters is it going to have by that time? It'll be out. Will it be out on Blu-ray by then? When does it come out on Blu-ray?
It's out on Blu-ray.
Maybe it's next month.
Yeah, next month. I think it's just after Infinity Wars.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is in theaters.
I just feel like Avengers Infinity War is going to be huge because Black Panther brought in a whole new group of Marvel fans, and they want to see the continued adventures of Black Panther. And so all those people who have never maybe even been to a Marvel movie before, who started going with Black Panther, are now in. And I think you're going to see monster numbers for Infinity War, which may be, what we're seeing with this pre-sale thing. Maybe that is what that is like the Black Panther audience pre-buying. Speaking of Marvel, and DC and comic book movies in general. Randall Park.
Yes, I saw this.
You see that little news? Apparently, James Wan just finishing pickups on Aquaman, and he revealed that Randall Park had joined the cast as Dr. Shin. Randall Park also going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp, so he is going to be in a Marvel movie and a DC movie in the same year. Cashing in on this craze, dude. He's playing both sides against each other.
What? In Hollywood?
Love Randall Park.
Yeah.
So it's always good to see more of him.
Very, very good.
I don't know who Dr. Shin is or, why they added a character during the Aquaman pickups or what function he'll serve in the story, but always good to see him on the big screen.
Well, also there was a story this week about talking about making changes and adding new characters. That the Predators, the new Predator movie is coming out. The reshoots have basically completely changed the third act of the movie, which will be quite a change.
Panic!
Well, no, it's not panic, but it is quite a change. If you they obviously got that from feedback from audience screenings or studio screenings to make
Fox. They like playing around.
Yeah, and it's not the only movie that they're playing around heavily. Obviously, we were talking last week about New Mutants is having a lot of work
Dark
done
Phoenix
on that.
too.
Dark Phoenix having a lot of work done on that. So
that's the process, though. Now we just hear about it. So,
but if it makes a better movie,
whatever,
do it. I mean, Rogue One was another one.
I wouldn't have written the New Mutant story out of nowhere.
Nope.
It was in response to other reporting that I felt sort of mischaracterized the situation and threw Josh Boone under the bus.
But we've spoken about it before, where everyone goes, "Oh my God, reshoots! Oh my God, it must be dog shit." But no, it's just it happens all the time.
I don't. Yeah. Anyways, Diego Boneta joined the Terminator movie.
I saw this. Now, I'm an apologist for Rock of Ages. I like that movie.
I never saw it. Honestly.
It's good. It's not good, but I like it. It's bad, so that it's good.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah. I have a lot of love for that movie. I know audiences turned away from it in disgust.
Sounds like he'll play a human in the
Spitting.
movie. He's not menacing enough to play a Terminator or anything
No, I
like
don't
that.
think
So
so.
he'll be somebody who's on the run.
He's a nice guy. I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy.
He wasn't the only Diego I'd heard for the movie. I'll just let that sit. Maybe no, I won't.
Diego Luna?
Could you see Diego Luna as, say, the Robert Patrick of this movie?
Yeah, I could.
Be interesting.
Could. I think they might go. I don't know whether they would go with that, but I could. Yeah, I could. A little bit of a stretch, but
I'm just saying, I told you it's going to be set in Mexico. They're looking for their young Latina lead now. They're going to need a villain. They don't have one yet. Put two and two together.
yeah.
Alex Garland doing a haunted house movie, The Toymaker's Secret.
I love haunted house movies.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
'em.
I'm down to see this. It sounds like this one's going to be family friendly, not really edgy like Garland's most recent material. But I like the title. Premise sounded a little familiar.
Yeah, the Toymaker Secret.
It was a little vague, but it all depends what that secret is.
What are your favorite haunted house movies?
I'd have to think about that, man.
Okay.
I don't know that I can just pull that one out off the top of my head.
Okay, I love 13 Ghosts.
Jesus
Come
Christ.
on. That is a genius little bit of camp.
I should fire you off this podcast
You can't
right now.
fire me. You're not my boss. What are you talking about? You have no power whatsoever.
I was going to say, do you know what movie is not considered a haunted house movie, but technically it is?
What's that?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is a great haunted house movie.
Yeah. The Haunting is my other one. The original one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, not the
Glad
Liam
you threw
Neeson,
that one in. Holy
Catherine
shit.
Zeta-Jones.
Let's talk. God, we are like, all right, it's already 10
Although I do
o'clock.
quite like that one. It's favorite.
Do we have extra time today? Can we go a little bit over? All right. Let's talk about some trailers. There was so many good trailers this week.
Yep.
Guys, we saw Jason Statham take on a shark in The Meg.
Oh my god.
Or it was teased that he will take on this shark.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this looks ridiculous.
Ridiculous is a great word, but I am so unbelievably excited about this movie.
Yeah.
It possibly looks like the most fun I am going to have at the movies this year. It looks so stupid.
You better get an interview with Statham for that.
Oh god, of course, me and Stath.
Yeah.
Little Brit Baldies together like two eggs. Two Cockney eggs.
Yeah, that trailer was something, that's for sure. American Animals. Did you watch that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I did this combined post last night. Check this out.
Okay.
American Animals and Three Identical Strangers. Those were two of the three best movies I saw at Sundance. Three Identical Strangers remains the best movie I've seen all year. You know what that's about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the triplet story. So watch that trailer over on the tracking board and then check out American Animals about some college kids who robbed their school's library of $12 million in rare books. I mean, that's a great true story. And it features the real guys, too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do we get this week? We got another heist movie in Ocean's 8.
We did.
Which I'm looking forward to.
I'm on the fence on that one.
I'm not as excited as I feel I should be for it, but it's still early. I don't know.
I'm hoping that it's better than the trailers are making it look for me.
I just
Because
think
I like a lot of people in the cast.
I don't know why we need to do this all male or all female thing. Wouldn't an Ocean's movie be awesome if you had like the real main stars of Ocean's and then the real main stars of Ocean's 8? You know, and you just had
that's probably what they're looking at for the next
gender
one.
thing with like Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Kate Blanchett, and Sandra Bullock. Like that to me is what is exciting. Not necessarily all women, all men. Like
No, but I'm thinking that's probably what they're looking at, or certainly considering doing. If this one does particularly well, that would be the next logical step for me. I mean, it's just a movie that's not particularly exciting me. I mean, it looks fine. It looks like it could be enjoyable and a good sort of popcorn movie. And it's the sort of the female focused. There are a few movies coming out, but certainly for the summer, the female focused movies is quite thin on the ground right now. So you do get that counter programming sort of niche audience, even though it's a huge niche audience.
I saw I Feel Pretty this week in a theater packed with women.
I'm seeing that next week. What do you think?
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm under embargo.
Okay.
But let's just say if my thumb was pointing in a direction, it'd be pointing toward the sky.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Very good. Incredibles 2 trailer also came out this morning, dropped this morning.
I did not have a chance to see it, but I'm pumped for that movie.
It does look very, very good. I love Incredibles.
It's been a while since I've been this excited for a Pixar movie too.
Pixar movie 2.
Pixar movie too. I'm pumped.
Yeah. No, I mean, I kind of, forgive me for this, but I kind of forgot how awesome Incredibles was, and I watched it again quite recently.
See, I don't think it's that awesome. It's not. It's actually really not even close to one of my favorites. Like I go pretty much all the Toy Stories.
Yeah.
Ratatouille, Monsters Inc. I go all those above Incredibles, but.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
See, for me, it's better than Ratatouille.
I just love that little fucking rat.
That was on the poster.
You will love this little fucking rat. I would love to see Disney show Incredibles at CinemaCon, but I think it'll probably be in Infinity, or they just have like a 3-hour slot for their presentation. Yeah. Okay. And then I am coming back Thursday night driving, and I will be here Friday morning to talk all about the hot trailers.
You do realize that that's like a road movie. Jeff left Las Vegas to get to L.A. for 9 in the morning.
9 a.m.
What could possibly go wrong?
There were a whole bunch of other trailers. Dark Crimes with Jim Carrey, which you didn't watch yet.
Not.
I didn't realize he was playing a Polish detective.
Relax.
But those movies are right up my alley. Did you see Timothy Chalamet in Hot Summer Nights?
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh my God, Timothy, it's not good.
I've spent a lot of time down on Cape Cod. I felt like from what I saw in the trailer, it kind of nailed it. I'm looking forward to that. I love Micah Monroe. I've loved her since I first met her in The Guest. She's awesome. She's my girl.
Let's talk about box office. Box office. Okay, 2 major movies out this weekend. Rampage and Truth or Dare are probably the big ones. Not the only ones coming out, but the big ones. So Rampage, Thursday night previews, 2.4 million. If you compare that to San Andreas, which is The Rock with the same director, a couple of years ago, that was 3.1 million on previews. So it's slightly down on that. Looking at a weekend of 37 to 40 million. We'll talk about whether it's good or not in a second. Truth or Dare, 750,000 in previews on Thursday. That's looking at a weekend of 16 to 16.5, kind of around that mark. I think it's going to do a little bit more than that because I know a lot of people are kind of psyched with this, especially sort of the younger end of the market. And there's a lot of people out there who generally, they like the Blumhouse movies now. Blumhouse movies have become a thing. So if they see Blumhouse on the title, they want to go and see it. So I think it could do a little bit more than that. We're looking looking at the box office shaping up like this for the weekend: Rampage at number 1, Quiet Place at number 2 with a take of 30 million. Truth or Dare then in third place. We're looking at Ready Player One in fourth with about 14.5 million. Blockers, which is a great comedy. If you haven't seen Blockers and you want to laugh, that's really, really worth checking out with about 12 million. And then Black Panther in sixth place with another sort of 6 million this weekend. So that's kind of where we're looking at the box office. You saw Truth or Dare, I did not.
And you saw Rampage.
I did.
Before I get into Truth or Dare, have you noticed, somebody pointed this out to me, that all the ads for Truth or Dare, you know how ads have those bars now on top with the titles?
Yeah.
So the Truth or Dare says Friday the 13th, super big, and then at the bottom it's like Blumhouse's Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
Brilliant. A brilliant bit of marketing by Universal and Blumhouse. Yes, the movie is coming out on Friday the 13th, and you are allowed to announce that date
oh my God,
in the biggest font you want. It just so happens, it's the name of a more successful horror franchise. This movie's not good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love movies like this. I was kind of looking forward to it. This movie's not good. This is definitely a swing and a miss for Blumhouse. I get what they were going for, and it does make some noble strides. Like there's stuff like with the truth element of the game. Like one kid has to come out to his father. So like it goes for like this sort of depth, like this soap opera-ish depth, but the characters are just so obnoxious. I just don't care. You're not rooting. You're rooting for all these teens to die. They're all horrible. None of the actors are good. Like, what has happened to that market? Like, remember, we used to have. I guess I'm a little bit younger than you, but what the fuck? A little bit younger.
Only by about 15 years.
Nev Campbell, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, like.
I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, come on. Lucy Hale and Violet Bean or whoever else they got in this movie, there's no contest. It's just no contest. Sorry. So
it's a case of watch Fear again or The Crush.
Some of the kills were okay. Some of them just, tired and uninspired. Jeff Wadlow, not my favorite director.
A lot of people were saying that this is kind of like setting it up where the Final Destination franchise picked up with hey.
That's what it felt like to me. It felt like a bad cross between Final Destination and It Follows. There's such a clear It Follows vibe to this, except it was just not cool.
So it wanted to be It Follows. It just ends up with being It Blows.
It's a studio. It Follows. It is exactly how a studio would have ruined that movie. So
Rampage.
I cannot recommend this one.
So the fact that my meeting overran and I missed that was not
at all. Blumhouse has been on a roll lately, but I'm sorry, guys, I cannot give you. You get no points awarded for this one. This is a miss.
Don't use your movie pass.
How
pass.
is Rampage? Because I skipped that in favor of I Feel Pretty.
Okay, Rampage. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, looks ridiculous.
Absolutely
Sounds ridiculous.
Ridiculous. It has some of the worst performances that I've seen in a major Hollywood movie for quite some time.
Wait, Malin Ackerman, really?
I wasn't going to name names.
You didn't need to name the names. Her name's on the cast list.
There are a couple of performances in this which are just not good. Just not great. And so, despite that, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan is basically fucking Negan's day off. He's Negan!
Right.
It's like that's all he is. He's Negan dressed as a government agent. I mean, the dialogue is so unbelievably cheesy. You could stick it between bread and grill it. Some of the CG.
Good.
Thank you. They didn't put that on the poster.
The Rock. You got to hire Simon to punch up your scripts.
I do like puns for Statham. So yeah, great. But. The Rock is the Rock. Naomi Harris does a good job, but anybody could kind of play that role, so it doesn't have to be her. It's a big Hollywood movie for her, and she's very enjoyable in it.
I love her.
Some of the CGI in this is just spot on, and some of it is like, is this the finished version?
Have I told you my stance on Naomi Harris?
No, I haven't.
She's the most beautiful woman I've ever been in front of.
That is the right stance to have.
Stephanie, you're earmuffs.
You're pretty hot, but
earmuffs. Naomi Harris. Well, I interviewed her for After the Sunset in 2005. This is 13 years ago. I was blown away.
She's a friend of my wife's from university.
Oh wow. She's really done. She's still love herself.
But aside from that,
since that bad Brett Ratner movie.
But aside from that, no. I mean, it's a ridiculous movie. But I mean, I cannot deny that I really enjoyed it. It is a lot darker and heavier than I thought it was going to be when it comes to some of the action sequences and some of the sort of the violence. I actually really enjoyed this. This is the epitome of a dumb popcorn movie where it is just sit back, relax, and just let it wash over you. There are some really great action sequences. There's a lot of this stuff where you're like, do you know, none of this makes kind of sense. This is just like so many plot holes and things that are just cliched, but it still kind of is fun. I did enjoy it. From the trailers, I thought it was going to be terrible, but I was really curious to see it. And it's by no means The Rock's finest hour.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how desperate I get. I may see this. I may rent this, like I did Geostorm.
Do you know what? I mean, this to me is like, do go and see it in the movie theater. See it on a big screen.
Do go and see it.
Do go and see it in your local movie theater. No, but it's stupid, but it's actually better than you think it would be.
Okay. So I saw 2 more movies, by the way, this week, and I'm seeing one today. I'm seeing Upgrade later. Another Blumhouse movie.
I really want to see that.
I think it looks. I don't get to. I'm not the fucking publicist. Okay, get your own fucking. I'm sick and tired of this recurring tweet.
You get a +1.
No, you don't get a +1.
Whenever I see you've usually got someone with you.
Oh, God. Anyways, I saw After Truth or Dare. I had to watch.
I'm free if one comes up.
You're not coming with me today.
Okay, fine. That's a maybe. I'll take it as a maybe.
Upgrade looks awesome. It's with Logan Marshall Green. After Truth or Dare, I had to wash the taste out of my mouth and watch Den of Thieves. Did you see that? You did see that.
I saw that twice. I had to watch it twice.
You watched it twice?
I saw it once for Junket and once for review.
And I take it you're not a fan.
No.
I thought it was so dumb and so fun. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to pirate this movie since it came out in January. And when I say trying to pirate this movie, I mean every week going to my site and seeing if there was a watchable version of this movie, which there was not. And so in the end, you know, as we neared the home entertainment release, I know you're shaking your head. I'm trying to be honest here.
You're crushing Hollywood dreams.
To be honest, I don't like to pirate movies. I do it every now and then. I was so excited to see Den of Thieves. I missed the press screening at Sundance. I never got a chance to see it in theaters. Anyways, I decided to buy it. So there you go. I mean, you got more money out of me than you would have anyways. $14.99 on iTunes to buy this 2 weeks before it was available for rent, and it was worth every penny. 148 minutes of just machismo. I also saw the Ethan Hawke movie First Reformed, which was worth a look. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it. Worth a look.
Oh, interesting.
Anything else that caught your fancy? That tickled your fancy this week?
I need to find out what time we should meet for Upgrade tonight.
It's today. If it was tonight, it would be a different thing.
Is it
but day screenings? Who's sort of a +1 to a day screening?
Jeff. I'm hoping.
Not me. I go alone. I'm in and out. Day screenings, in and out.
But how are you going to fit in your jigsaw puzzles with all these day screenings?
You're telling me
that puzzle's not going to do itself.
You fucking ain't
Seriously.
right. It's not.
Oh my God! Thank God you got a hard-working team. But what is it? The tracking?
Is there anything?
The hyphen tracking board.
Don't forget the hyphen.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on your list? I have a whole bunch of things.
I'm done.
We have Well, we're gonna run down the bits and bobs then for 5 minutes.
Bits and bobs.
Here. Movie Pass got Movie Phone.
They did. They want it to be their Rotten Tomatoes.
By the way, my answering machine used to be the hello and welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, press 1.
Free Willy. Did you ask for Cool Runnings? No, I didn't. I remember when I worked in a movie theater, our voice system was so shit. It was like, what do you want to see? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've asked for the holiday. No, I haven't asked for the holiday. If that is incorrect, press 1.
Those movies weren't even out together at the same time.
Yeah, it's just there's some dude in a room just sitting there, just like making movies up.
All right. Bruce Willis, the subject of
he's
Comedy
going to be
Central
roasted.
I kind of love this. Comedy Central, if you're listening, you're probably not. Please invite me to this. I am world famous.
With a +1. I'm going to keep going on about it.
World famous for my cameo appearance on the Roast of James Franco. Everybody knows that I was there in the audience at the Roast of James Franco, and it was the best one, and that's why I should be in the audience for Bruce Willis, because he's the man. Damian Lewis from Billions playing Rob Ford in I Run This Town. Did you see that one coming?
I did see that. I didn't see him coming. I didn't see it coming. Obviously, I didn't see him coming. I didn't see that casting coming at all.
Didn't see that coming at all.
Did not.
He's going to be covered in prosthetics. AMC picked up Nosferatu, that pilot.
Nosferatu,
right,
the sequel.
Two.
Yeah.
David Goyer, Josh Friedman doing Isaac Asimov's The Foundation.
Yep.
Renewals. Jessica Jones got renewed. Barry got renewed. That's exciting in the world of television. There's going to be a Spanish remake of My Best Friend's Wedding. Ay caramba? No?
Is that the title?
I don't know.
Okay.
No. Christina Hodson hired to write Batgirl. That's big news. Yeah. We didn't talk about it. We should have.
We should have talked about it.
Well, Joss Whedon is gone, and they got a female writer to add a female perspective, which is exactly what this movie needs. Fox Searchlight launching a TV studio. If there was one Fox Searchlight movie that you could see turn into a TV show, what would it be?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Little Miss Sunshine?
Little Miss Sunshine, the TV show. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Do you have any suggestions? I want Shame, the TV show about a sex addict.
I have a funny story about Shame. I once went to a screening of Shame in London, and I was talking to another journalist.
You don't hear a lot of stories that start with, I have a funny story about Shame.
No, absolutely. But I went to this screening in London. There was a fellow journalist with me there. And I was like, I'm really looking forward to this. He was like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. It should be really great. Got to the end of the movie. He looked at me and he had this like horrified look on his face. And I was like, what's wrong? And he went, that wasn't the movie I thought I was coming to see. And I went, what did you think you were coming to see? He went, I thought I was coming to see a Robert De Niro heist movie. And I was like,
Stone?
Yeah, I guess so.
Score?
But I'm like,
Shame.
no, this. And he was like, there was a lot of sex in that. I went, there's a lot of sex in that. But yeah, how do you get the two confused? Like the minute Michael Fassbender comes on board and there's like fucking for 90 minutes, it's like,
beats me.
Maybe the heist is never gonna happen.
Liam Neeson and Leslie Manville doing a movie together. Martin Scorsese directing an SCTV doc for Netflix, right?
Yep.
Sacha Baron Cohen heading to
Hope
TV.
Rick Moranis comes back for that, by the way.
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will.
Sacha Baron Cohen doing a TV series called The Spy.
Serious role.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I think
me
he
too.
needs to do something outside of comedy. We all thought it was going to be Freddie Mercury.
Well, he did. He did The Brothers Grimsby. That was outside of comedy.
Yeah, I guess. And then the hot spec this week that I wrote about up on the tracking board was Junior, about the kidnapping of Frank Sinatra Jr. Yeah. Do you know anything about that incident?
No, I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to read up on it. We'll see if that actually
It's not a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
That's what I thought when I was writing it up. I think that'll do it for Meet the Movie Press this week.
Yeah.
Simon, where can the good folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Showbiz Simon. There's also a Facebook page. This is Simon Thompson. You can see some of my work on Forbes. I've got a load of Karate Kid stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I did a really good interview, if I say so myself, with Cheech and Chong this week about the 40th anniversary of Up in Smoke. Also, did you know that Cheech Marin turned down the role of being the face of Mario in Mario Brothers for Nintendo? They offered him a huge amount of money and slice of the profits, and he turned it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a crazy story.
But also, do you know what? That was the story that Tommy Chong had never heard until Cheech Marin told me during the conversation. It's exclusive to Forbes, so check that shit out.
Holy shit.
You work with someone for like 50 years, and they never tell you that, hey, dude, what did you do? I turned down Mario. How the hell does that not happen?
I would actually still see a movie with them as Mario and Luigi.
Check out the interview, and also other places you can find me.
Super High Mario Brothers
is at the screening this afternoon.
I'll save you a seat. And I'm Jeff Snider, editor-in-chief of the tracking board, tracking-board.com. You can follow me at the InSnider on Twitter and Instagram. And thank you, as always, for watching the Popcorn Talk Network. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Get ready to rampage this weekend, folks.
It's good fun. It's Dharma's, but do it.
The truth is, I dare you to see it. Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.